it'll be a cold day in hell when I read A Little Life. I seriously can't imagine a world where I subject myself to that. So I don't think I will ever read that book, but glad that you guys enjoy to just torture yourself. Have fun with that. Hey, what's up you guys? It's Avery and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who've never been here before, welcome. Glad to see you. Glad that we're gonna hang out today. So I saw this recent article on Goodreads called Goodreads Members' 76 Most Popular Books of the Past Decade. And I logged in through my account and I was able to see this list of the most popular books, and it tells you which ones I've read and which ones I want to read. And I just thought it would be interesting to go through this list together and talk about how many of these books I've read and what my opinions are of them, and if I think they deserve to be on this most popular list of the decade. Because a lot of books are good and deserve to be popular, but some of them are also a little overhyped. So I'm here to give my opinion on what I think is worthy of this list and what I think maybe shouldn't be on this list. So that's what we're going to be doing today, but before we jump into it, I want to talk to you about the jewelry that I'm wearing. So if you guys have been watching my channel, you know that I'm a big fan of Luisa Jewelry. They have been sending me jewelry to talk about in my videos for a while now, and I'm so grateful because I'm such a big fan of this company. They have the most beautiful jewelry, so it's so fun to be able to work with them to let you guys know about their jewelry and their upcoming sales. So right now I'm wearing this matching set with this necklace with this black stone, and these earrings are a black stone as well, and they just look really beautiful together. The second earrings I'm wearing are also from Ana Luisa. Half of my jewelry is from Ana Luisa. It's honestly the majority of what I wear, and they have such high quality jewelry at a pretty affordable cost as well. And as of right now, they have some sales going on for the end of the year, and so you can check out the link in my description and you can see some of the sales they're having, up to 35% off on some of the jewelry. Ana Luisa jewelry is water resistant and won't tarnish, and it also has a 2-year warranty just in case anything does happen to it. Gift giving season is approaching, and so getting someone you love some high quality jewelry is always an amazing present. So go check out the link in my description to check out Ana Luisa's jewelry, and you will not regret it, I promise. So let's look at this article. If we look at the beginning, it says, while digging through the stacks at Goodreads World Headquarters, a random question occurred to the editorial team. What are the most popular books of the past decade? Well, we looked into it. The books collected below represent the most popular books on Goodreads in the past 10 years, dialing back to 2013. And so the books here are ranked in order of overall popularity as determined by which titles Goodreads members have marked as read, currently reading, or want to read. So I'm just going to dive into the list and talk about the ones that I have read, and we'll just kind of see what's going on. So the first book on the list is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which I have read and I am a big fan of. I really enjoyed this book. I think Taylor Jenkins Reid is a great writer. She has really strong characters and really strong relationships between her characters, so I definitely understand why this one is high on the list and I would recommend it. So the next two that I've read on the list, Where the Crawdads Sing and All the Light We Cannot See. Not incredibly impressed with both of them. I liked Where the Crawdads Sing and I read it pretty quickly, and I did like the ending, and I think the movie adaptation did a really good job. But honestly, what I tell people, which is very rare, is that I think if you haven't read or seen the movie, you should just watch the movie, because I think the movie pretty much encapsulates the book really well without having to sit through some of the boring parts of the book, because there are parts of the book that are pretty slow. Next up we have All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr, which won the Pulitzer, I believe, and it's set during World War II. I also enjoyed this book but was not obsessed with it. I also thought it was pretty slow at points. I do want to watch the Netflix series, which just recently came out. I've yet to do that, and so that is definitely something I really want to do. The next one on here that I've read is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, which, unpopular opinion, I did not like this book. Okay, that's a little harsh. I just didn't understand the hype behind this book and why everybody was so obsessed with it, because I thought it was the most predictable book ever and that it wasn't very deep. I think it's supposed to feel deep, but it just didn't to me. I thought it was very predictable, and I just did not understand why everybody was obsessed. Sorry, I hate to say it. I do really want to read Educated. I haven't read it yet, but I have a friend reading it right now, and I might borrow it from her after she's done. But I've heard that it's great, so I really want to read Educated. Daisy Jones and the Six I've read, and I also like this book. I just think everything Taylor Jenkins writes is really solid. The characters are always really complex and interesting. I wasn't obsessed with this one, but I thought it was like a solid book and worth reading, I would say. The next one I've read is Normal People, and I am a Normal People hater. Not even a hater. I gave Normal People 3 stars, but I saw someone saying online somewhere that you either love Normal People or you don't, because either you relate to it or you don't. And if you don't relate to the relationship between Marianne and Connell, then you just think it's kind of a dumb book, which I definitely think is probably the case with me. Never in my life would I allow a situationship to occur. It's not really my vibe, and so I think that could be why I just thought their relationship was kind of annoying. I was like, why are they like this with each other? Let's just have healthy relationships. Crazy idea, I know. Next up on the list we have The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, and I love this book. I gave this book 5 stars. I have it on my shelf somewhere. Recently reorganized, so I have no idea where anything is. But this is a historical fiction set during World War II, and it's so, so good. Follows 2 sisters and the struggles each of them are dealing with in occupied France during the war. It had me bawling at the end. Would really recommend this book. Okay, scrolling down, we have Malibu Rising, another Taylor Jenkins read. Taylor Jenkins read, she's been popping off this in the past few years, like for sure, which I think is warranted because she's a great writer, and I think out of the 3 that we've talked about so far, Malibu Rising is definitely my favorite. I really enjoyed reading about the sibling relationships in this book, and I think that she did a really good job of making all the characters very likable and very relatable. I have The Goldfinch. I haven't read it yet. It's on my shelf. It's a big book, and so I kind of have been hesitant to start it, but I do have it, and am ready to read it. The Tattooist of Auschwitz. I love this book. This is a memoir about a man who lived in Auschwitz and was the tattooer of the other prisoners. And it's about him falling in love with his wife in the camp and about them both trying to survive. And I thought it was very inspiring and definitely recommend. It'll be a cold day in hell when I read A Little Life. I seriously can't imagine a world where I subject myself to that. So I don't think I will ever read that book, but glad that you guys enjoy to just torture yourself. Have fun with that. Next up, the book that I've read is Lessons in Chemistry, and I read this in October, so pretty recently, and I loved this book. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I loved Elizabeth Zott. I loved 630, the character, which is the dog. It was so fun being in his perspective. I just thought all the characters were so likable, and I thought it was funny, I thought it was sad, I thought it was heartbreaking, I thought it was endearing. I thought this book had everything there is that a good book should have. So definitely recommend Lessons in Chemistry. I understand why it's so popular. Next one that I read is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. I read this earlier this year, and I also really liked this book. I think I maybe gave it 4 stars, and it's one of those books where you're super interested in what's going on, but you kind of have no idea why, because it's not something that you would ever expect that you'd be interested in. Like a video game company is what this book is about, and why would I care about that? I'm not a big gamer, but you're just really invested in the characters, and I definitely think the relationships are what make that book so good. Next up, we have Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. I think I read this last year, and I really enjoyed this. Frederick Bachman, the 2 that I've read by him so far, have both been 5-star reads. This book is about a bunch of people during a hostage situation and the way that they all cope with it. It's really funny. Frederick Bachman is hilarious. He also writes really endearingly about relationships and people learning to love each other. Anxious People, definitely a good one. I have it on my shelf somewhere in the oranges. We've got a few on here that are on my want to read, but I haven't read yet. Pachinko is on my bookshelf, haven't read it yet. My brother recently read Project Hail Mary and told me I should read it, and I just haven't yet, but I will eventually. Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney, I have read and really liked this book. This is my favorite of the 3 Sally Rooneys. I read all 3 of them for a video and kind of compared the 2 and ranked them, and this is my favorite. I really liked the relationships between all 4 characters in this one the most, and this one seems to be the least dysfunctional out of all the books, which is maybe why I liked it. But I thought that the character relationships were really good between the love interests, but also between the 2 main girls. Their friendship was really fun to see, and I really enjoyed that aspect of the book as well. Next up we have Carrie Soto is back, another TJR. She is really just killing it. Like, she's definitely becoming one of the novelists of this generation, I believe. I liked this book also, but it wasn't my favorite. Taylor Jenkins Reid is so interesting because so far I haven't been incredibly obsessed with any of her books except for One True Loves. I did read that one in like almost a day. But it's like you're so interested because of her writing style, and she keeps you hooked even though you're not maybe like super invested in the characters, which is how I felt about this one. But it's like I still want to keep reading and I just want to know what happens. So, interesting. She knows how to keep you hooked, that's for sure. Crying in H Mart is one of my favorite books of last year. 5 stars, super sad, heart-wrenching memoir about a woman who loses her mother. Truly so good. I definitely understand why this one's on the list. Another Sally Rooney, Conversations with Friends. This one I think I rated 2nd in my rankings of her novels. I also just wasn't super obsessed with this book. I think I liked it better than normal people, but I don't know. Sally Rooney is not for everybody, I think. And I think she's not for me. But maybe I'll try her again when she releases. I mean, I definitely will read whatever she releases next, but she's maybe not my girl. Next up we have On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. I did not enjoy this. I've talked about this on my channel. A lot of people love this book. I think because I'm not a big fan of poetry, I didn't enjoy his writing style because he's a poet, and so the way that he writes, it felt like I was reading poetry instead of a novel, and I just didn't connect with that. I just did not love that book. Sorry, I hate to say it. I hate to say it, but it's true. The next book we have on here that I've read is Before the Coffee Gets Cold. I love this whole series. I've talked about this series on my channel before. Amazing books about being able to travel to the past and being able to kind of fix your life, not with like what you do in the past, but how you move forward in the present. Short books, each story is different, love it. Next up we have My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otessa Moshfegh. This is another one of like the literary fiction girly books that I just did not get into. I thought the main character was annoying and like super entitled, and I just didn't connect with her at all, and I thought the book was boring because all she does is sleep and be sad, which is like my life already. I don't really need to read about that. Just kidding, I'm fine. Okay, oh, we got some scrolling. Am I gonna hit any more before? Oh, that's it. Okay, that is all of the books. 19, I've read 19 out of 76. And so let's see what percentage that is. Can you do the math in your head? Good for you. Couldn't be me. That is exactly 25%. So I've read 1/4 of the books on the list, which is pretty good, I think. And I definitely think a lot of those are worth the hype. I think some of them aren't worth the hype, the ones obviously that I talked about. But I hope you enjoyed hearing my opinions on some of the most popular books of the past decade. I'm definitely a lot of those on the list I haven't read and want to read. So I'm excited to get to them eventually, maybe next year. Don't forget to check out Ana Luisa by clicking on the link in the description so you can buy some beautiful jewelry for some people that you love during this holiday season. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, subscribe, and you can see my next videos as they come out. That's like how subscribing works. Crazy. Also, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and follow my socials that I have listed below. I've not been posting on them very frequently. I kind of go through periods of ups and downs where I post and then when I don't post, so check them out though, because every once in a while you'll get a little surprise. Avery posted. Thank you again for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Sorry, that was so Ginny and Georgia of me. That was so, you know what I'm talking about. I apologize.